And I'm Nicole. Welcome back to the Ego Drop. I had to put up with that at the week. Welcome
Sorry,
back.
if you're not watching us, you won't know what's just happened. I've put a mask of my face, mask of Nicole's face up against my face. We'll explain in a moment. I'll let you carry on.
It's so silly. You just welcome back, everyone, to the Ego Drop. Okay, let me start again. Welcome back to the Ego Drop podcast, where we delve into how ego affects our lives. And perhaps I'll ask you, Miss Troublemaker, how was the last few weeks been for you?
They've been really good. We had a special birthday celebration for somebody fairly recently, hence the mask. And yeah, I enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah, it's been really hectic as you know, busy in terms of work, especially just hectic. But I'm not complaining because busy is good. Good for business, all that good stuff, and a couple of projects that I was working on. But yeah, the birthday.
Yeah, the big birthday.
Still recovering. So yeah. So how was ego affected you this week?
Well, actually, for the birthday celebrations, the best example I could think of for the last week or two is the fact that I don't go out hugely often anymore. I'm more at home in my comfies with a book on the sofa with the dogs. And so when it comes to going out, I really struggle now knowing what to wear, and I don't really feel comfortable getting dressed up. And so I had a bit of a moment where I thought, I don't know what to wear and I don't feel comfortable in anything. And I was wearing a sort of vest top that revealed my arms, and I don't like revealing my arms. And so ego kicked in because I guess there was a feeling of inferiority there, that, you know, I didn't look as good as anybody else would. And then I sort of had to sort of check myself and think, when have I ever gone out and then for weeks later thought about somebody else's bingo wings? I genuinely have never done that. And so I had to so, you know, if mine affect other people that greatly, then they must be doing something right. So yeah, I got over myself and wore the top and had a great evening, embarrassing my very good friend Nicole.
Yeah, sure did.
So, in the similar vein, how did ego affect you the last week or so?
Gosh, there's so many little bits and pieces. You know what? I've got my own point that I want to say about ego, but you know that same thing that you talked about, the clothing, because like you, as you know, I don't go out often. And it's just trying to work out what to wear, and especially when you're at a certain age.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, as soon as you go over 40, you're sort of too young for certain clothes shops, which I was going to mention, and then I thought no. Yeah, too young to sort of wear the two pieces. Yeah, but too old to get away with a lot of the high street these days. So I end up buying a lot of stuff online. And yeah, I really struggle. So floaty dresses or comfy leggings and a t-shirt will do me.
I mean a floaty dress.
I can't even... Oh, I'd pay to see that.
So, the way in which I've been affected this week is, you know, I've been feeling fearful about speaking openly about my age, and even posting anything online about birthday. And you know, you might even recall the whole thing about the birthday party, what to do. And I think we touched upon it before about, you know, wanting to do this, that, you know, is it a cruise, is it this, is it that? And then I got into a meltdown about, I don't want to have a party because I don't want a big fuss. And you know, and I think it was about me not wanting to accept that I was turning 50, because I had this fear when I've looked at like some of my school friends who are born earlier in the year, you know, to myself, there are, the balloons and like big
We had
events.
this
And she bought me a
conversation last
balloon.
time. Of course, I did show up with balloons. as promised.
This friend here, Jesus,
I'm the friend.
don't tell her anything, and because otherwise she's gonna turn up with it.
I was just teaching you to embrace it all. Hence all your faces around the room. Because is it? Do you think it's because you maybe even subconsciously linked success and everything else to being that bit younger?
Yes.
After a certain age, people you almost feel invisible. Certainly as a woman, you hit a certain age and you're
supposed to retire.
Yeah, you're not there anymore.
Yeah, you're supposed to
So that ego thing of seeing success in a particular way, whether it's the handsome, whether it's pretty, whether it's successful, only having things, whatever it is, and then in this instance being at that little bit younger.
And I don't know what feeling 50 is like, but you look out there, wherever out there is, and you think you know what 50 should look like, i.e. the success, i.e. I hear some people at 50 having grandchildren. Like, seriously? So for me, it's all those things that was going on in my head, and about the clothing, the appearance, and I don't know.
So sort of competing with others of the same age.
And it's just so many things that's going on in my head, and I was thinking, I don't want to do this. I don't want to have a party, because it means that I'm gonna have to look at something on the wall that says 50. And then then my sister had a party the following day. I walked in the house. I thought we were gonna have just dinner, and I sent you a picture of the decoration.
It was beautiful. Lots of balloons.
Big
50.
Lots of 50s and big.
To be fair, we were quite good to you at the meal. We didn't put lots of 50. In fact, I specifically said to the cake maker, don't put the age on, because I knew that you were a bit about it all.
So I was feeling that level of, but I soon had to. I soon realised it's okay.
It's a privilege.
Okay. Yeah,
you're 50.
Okay.
Some people don't get to be 50. It's just a number. It means nothing, does it? So
I had to go through all of that.
Put your hair in rollers and turned up in your dressing gown, shuffling along. That's next week's podcast.
Yes. So so as far as I know I've gone on a little bit in terms of how ego's impacted me, but I felt a little bit of many things, but it's okay, and I think that's what it came back to in the end for me. It's okay. Those fears, what are they based on? It's okay. Let it go. Good. Yeah, so thank you for a wonderful time celebrating with us.
It was good. It was good. It was nice and classy, apart from the fact that I've plastered your face everywhere, and I do apologise for that. But we had to just get you in and break your spirits and then build you back up again, which I think we did quite nicely.
Thankfully, I'm a good sport.
And she walked in, she took one look at me, went, I know exactly who's responsible for this. What you want?
So cute. Well, yes. Shall we take a quick break?
I think that's a very good idea.
Okay, take care. Welcome back to part 2. Each week we will reflect on our experiences of ego and how it has affected us, and we'll apply ego in different topics. What's this week's topic?
This week's topic is ego and fear. And we were inspired by a really, really good email that we received from one of our listeners that actually wants to stay anonymous. So we're going to respect that, and I'm going to read out the email now. Yeah. So the listener writes, my understanding of ego is recent, as I always thought it was a negative thing. It seems that ego can affect our judgment quite a bit. As you said, it's easy to jump to the defensive rather than listening and processing and then letting go if it doesn't serve. I think ego in recent times has been given a bad reputation with terms like egomaniac. But actually, it's quite important for the way we process our world and social surroundings. It kind of bothers me when you see these quite abrupt and confrontational social media posts from perfectly normal and often nice people. For example, someone will post a picture with a bit of a blurb saying the path to inner peace is not my effing problem, or I'm the bitch who says it like it is. Anyway, it bores the hell out of me, and I wonder why they feel the need to do this. Here's my 2 pence worth regarding inner criticism and when the ego is consumed with doubt or assuming that what others may be thinking about us. Fear of failure, moving forward, being brave enough to try, but also who gives a damn if it fails, my personal journey. I've been lucky enough to have the best mentor, sadly lost now, but what a lesson she left. If she wanted to do something, she would find a way, and when she did, it didn't matter what other people thought. And doing this meant she experienced life to the full, had some amazing memories, and taught others a valuable lesson. I always dreamt of being an artist or in fashion design, but settled to have my family, as many women did in my generation. After 15 years or so of not being creative, I was encouraged by this fabulous mentor to put myself forward for an opportunity to illustrate a children's book. What can you lose, she would say, just go for it. So after a lot of nerves, I did. The author loved my work and I had lots of positive feedback. And then the email, if I'm just going to scan down a little bit, she says, my wonderful mentor would always be a huge encouragement, and every time I engaged in negative self-talk, criticism or made excuses, she would say, why not? Why can't you do this? Why do you think your work isn't good enough? Why shouldn't you have a go at that? She was incredibly courageous, never afraid to do what she wanted to do, even if it got her into some embarrassing situations, it never stopped her. Since her death, I've realised we waste so much time stuck in our heads, doubting and worrying what others think, their opinions of us, that I decided life is way too short to at least try. We stop ourselves at least trying to do the things we might enjoy. I admit I swing from giving things a go to going into limbo of being happy creating in my own space and not showing others what I've done. But there's not much enjoyment to be had in that, and I think it's a good idea to set goals, to try even if you might fail. She's considering currently her next creative step in her journey, whilst trying not to listen to the part of the ego that says no, that what worries about other people, what might think of them, and they're going to continue to meditate on this. I thought that email was such a thought-provoking email about how ego impacts our fear response to something, and it could be, something that is genuinely frightening, or just as our listener says, your ambitions in life and not actually be able to do anything about that. I mean, what did you think of it, Nicole?
I think it was really, really good. In terms of the consideration that she's given, and the detail, the level of detail, the exposure that she gave herself in talking about her own fears, in regards to, of course, times when, wanting to do X and she's done Y, for example, but also not allowing anybody else to determine, her own. She was encouraged and so on, but she got to that place where she'd love to be, I guess, as bold as others.
Yeah, I think the
listener, I don't give a fuck.
I think the listener's still battling a little bit with the ego. They're not quite as confident as they ought to be.
So she's still battling, and she'd like to be like, the other, is it her mentor that says that's I don't give a fuck what you think kind of mentality. Definitely. So she although she's bold and she's courageous enough to explore her own path and journey, she's still sitting with it and thinking.
And I think sometimes it's you need somebody like that in your life, don't you, to give that push, to ask you why aren't you doing that? Why not?
What are you afraid of?
What
are you what's the worst that can happen?
Do you think fear's ever impacted your choices?
Of course. For example, a perfect one is this, wanting to, sometimes you'll not you, but I'll talk about myself because you've asked a direct question. I've been in a position where I've been introduced to, for example, property type deals, or even when I was introduced to cryptocurrencies and ways in which you could make some money and and I'm like, the fear of that money. What if I put it there and I never get it back? What if it disappears? You know what I mean? And you get into that, or better still, you collect so much information, you go around, research, and you actually do nothing. You don't make a decision, you don't do anything. And I've been crippled with that, the fear of, I want to do this investment, but I'm scared that if I do it, something will go wrong. You understand? So I end up doing nothing at all. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Which is counterproductive, really, because what's the point of attending that seminar and getting that bit of it's similar to you having gone out there, learned yoga, and you've invested all this money and the time in it, and then you've never gone online to teach anybody, or you never go to the village hall to teach a group of people. You're like, I'm a yoga instructor, but I'm not going to teach yoga. You know what I mean? And is that, because we're worried about, in that instance, I guess, what people would think. In my case, is money. Worrying, oh gosh, what if I buy it, and what if I spend all that money on the house and do it up and I don't get it back? What if the value that I was expecting or I'd calculated is not that? That's not the end value after doing it up. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So that I've been very fearful in particular, but I guess it's lacking confidence as well.
Definitely.
So I don't know if confidence plays a part.
Well, it's all attached to your ego, isn't it? Having self-confidence is part of your super ego, isn't it?
Yeah. So Steph, what did you make of the email?
Well, very similar. I just thought, you sort of relate to it, don't you? There's so many instances in life, and it could be something fairly minor where again, it goes back to that feeling of inferiority, doesn't it? And what will people think? And we discussed this probably on episode 1 about actually doing the podcast and worrying about what people think. And then when you step back, what does it matter? It doesn't matter, does it? But I think there's been quite a few occasions in life where fear has stopped me doing stuff. I mean, I'm a qualified Reiki healer. Obviously, you know about my yoga. I bang on about that pretty much every episode. But also like life coaching and yoga life coaching. I've done all certifications in all that, tapping practitioner.
Is it that when you do this?
Yeah, you do it in different
places.
Places, and it's it gets all your meridian lines and all the chakras and all the rest of it. That's the professional term. But fear just stops me anyway. And time, I do have a lot going on. But fear of actually putting yourself out there as a healer or holistic therapist.
When you say fear as fear of putting yourself out there as a healer, holistic therapist, is it that you're worried what people think or say?
I don't think so, because as we've already discussed, I think it's more fear of failure. Because it's such a big jump from what I do for a day job, and then if it doesn't work, obviously it's got implications when you've got a family and a home and all the rest of it, and that's probably the biggest thing. But if you take all that aside and just think, you've gone to all those lengths and you put yourself out there, and what's that then going to... I guess it does go back to what people think, because what's that going to look like? Oh, she tried to do this and it didn't work, and she's scurried back to a hole somewhere, But so I think fear is a massive thing, but I think having strong people in your life and mentors like our listener has, it can be so beneficial.
No, it's true. It's so true.
I mean, we've had mentors in our day job, haven't we?
Exactly what I was gonna go back to that and say, is it because it's something different, something new, why we're so fearful? Because your fear is in regards to it's something new, isn't it? Even though you've practiced it, not as a practitioner originally, but as what do you call it, like a recipient of it, when you're an attendee. So you'll be involved in, you probably had treatments and sessions where someone is performing Reiki and stuff on you, but despite your knowledge and experience from that perspective, now that you are a healer, you're almost questioning yourself. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I think also it's so different to the day job.
Exactly.
It almost feels embarrassing. Which again
It's
is all
true.
linked to ego, isn't it? And how
Steph.
what is the definition of success
Oh my
and
goodness.
ego? It's
You know,
that,
it's
isn't
so
it?
true. I resonate with that point. Let me give you one for example. And I hope I don't digress too long. Put me back on track because you know I'm very good at
I've
it.
got the script.
But seriously, but seriously, seriously though, Steph, right? Both of us as lawyers, we go out, we studied, uni, blah, blah, blah. We went out there, got on with the job for however many years, and quite confident and capable on our own to get on with it without any question. But with that new area that you're in, it's like, as I said, you've been the attendee or the person who's been treated, and you're fine. And now that you've had the knowledge, you're fearful. Same with me. I remember some years ago when I started, just before the pandemic, I started doing, trying to get into property investment and whatnot. And gone off on training, and one of the things that they said is, my mentor said to me, oh, record yourself when you're going to do locations, film this and post it and stuff. And Steph, I've done so many videos, and I just couldn't bring myself to post them online because I just feel like a fraud. I feel a sense of someone's going to look at it and go, look at her, what's she on about? Or even someone who knows me from the profession think, time you're wasting doing that, you need to focus on you. You know what I mean? I think in all sorts, and it comes back really to fear of lots of things: failure, rejection,
appearance, what is
rejection,
success?
what is success? Yes, weird.
Usually.
But anyway,
so when we look at the worries that we have, most of them are actually going to be to do with the future, things that haven't happened. So if I do this, or if I don't do this, X will happen. So if I do this, somebody might laugh at my video, or maybe I won't be successful if I do this or don't do this.
I'm fake or pretentious.
But what I find really fascinating is the future doesn't exist anywhere other than in your head. So those future consequences aren't real, and you'll deal with them in the moment when or if they become real. True.
And it's about acknowledging that it is just a thought and it's a feeling. And I guess the time comes to let it go. So it is, I think that it comes back to this. It's a waste of time, really, and energy sitting worrying about thoughts, feelings, what people might be saying, what people might be thinking. You know what I mean? Worrying about the future, worrying about the past, what has happened. And it's possibly you can just ask, is there anything that I can do right now? If not, why worry about it? Try not to worry about it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think it's about, looking and saying to yourself, that's then.
Yeah.
This is now.
Definitely.
That's past. Let it go.
And ego also enjoys keeping you in the past as well. So it's not just about the future. So you go over old regrets, old hurts, things that have gone wrong, and your ego tries to keep you there. It isolates you from the present moment, and that's usually when you get your suffering.
True, and it helps to create fear, and bring about all your anxieties and insecurities. And again, it will just coming right back to ego.
Definitely.
Wow.
And I think the other thing to consider when you're discussing ego and fear is why you're fearful. Is your ego getting in the way for some other reason? Is it because you need to be a winner? You need to be successful?
But the truth though is, come on, Steph. Hello.
Sorry, that's the cat. She's got to make an appearance.
But the truth though, Steph, everybody wants to be a winner. Everybody wants to win. Winning is key to success, isn't it? That's what we've been taught or taught since we were young. However, there's something wrong if you want to be a winner because you hate losing. That cannot be the reason.
Yeah, and the reasons why you want to win therefore get skewed. So you're not concerned about winning or achieving X because you want to be happy or because you want to feel successful. You just want to be better than others. You don't want to lose to others. And if that's the reason you want to win or be successful, then that could indicate a real ego issue.
Yeah. You definitely need to look at whether you want to be successful to reach fulfillment, really, or if you are in competition with others, you need to really kind of process, the why really you're feeling like that, or you want it so badly, and if and what length you'll go to winning, because of course, I mean, we can look around in the professional sense, or you can see people around you, the things that they do to win, and again, this could be a signal of an ego issue. Isn't
And
it?
these sorts of problems can relate to material things, material wants and needs, different sorts of gains, or even pitching children against one another. So the desire to be the best, or for your children to be the best, or for your business to be the best, and how it reflects on you.
I think what I'm getting from that really is that sort of desire that could eat you up.
It can, can't it?
So really we need to be careful, don't we?
Definitely. And I think if you recognise those sorts of features in yourself, or if you notice them cropping up from time to time, or in anybody around you actually, then you need to try to take a step back, focus on really what is important in life with that perspective, and try then to build a healthier ego. And obviously we've already discussed a few times now on the sorts of steps you might want to take to do that. Really reassessing what is important in life.
You want to do what's right for you, so as to not bring about suffering to self.
Definitely.
And if this discussion has touched a nerve, either because you recognize these traits in yourself or in others immediately around you, perhaps we'd love to hear from you. It'd be great for you to share your thoughts, interact with us on all socials. And that is at Instagram, TikTok, and of course, if you watch us also on the various podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is that you watch or you consume our content, the audio on the various sources, or as I said, on YouTube, please interact. Let us know how it's impacted you. Feel free also to send us email, and we'll be happy to read your email out aloud as we've done today. And certainly we will respect your privacy if asked.
Yep, and that email address is theegodrop@gmail.com. So remember to like, subscribe, follow where you can, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
And also, please share it with a friend.
Oh, yes, please. See you soon.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.